Hello and welcome to the Real Talk Podcast with Kelly and Avery. We're your hosts, Kelly Berger and Avery Roberts. We are two rare ladies living with congenital muscular dystrophy, CMD.
The show where we amplify voices, break down barriers, and celebrate the power of disability identity. Whether you're living with a disability, supporting someone who is, or just here to learn, you're in the right place.
Where wit, wisdom, and reels are all part of the party. So sit down with us. We're tearing down stereotypes, one reel at a time.
It's a front row seat to bold conversations and the thriving disabled lifestyle, and we're ready to get gloriously uncomfortable.
Let's get loud, proud, and empowered. Real power, real stories. We know what you're thinking. Another awareness episode, a day where we gather once again to be deeply aware of something we absolutely ignored yesterday. Another day we honor a sacred 24-hour period by posting vigorously inspirational quotes, learning exactly one fact, and then immediately returning to our regularly scheduled chaos tomorrow. Today we're breaking down the annual tradition of cheering intensely for a matter of hours because this one hits especially close to home.
So let's start with this. What is 6/6 or June 6th? So June 6th is World Collagen VI Awareness Day, a day dedicated to people like us living with Collagen VI-related dystrophy. This movement was sparked by the incredible global community, including advocates like Julia DeRay and organizations like Collagen VI Italy, who helped spearhead and turn this into something powerful and worldwide. There's a global virtual gathering happening on 6/6, bringing together organizations, researchers, clinicians, and individuals living with COL6 from all over the world. It's really about connection and education and just real impact. So the link to register and attend is in the show notes, and we'd love to see you there and have you join us. Just show up and show your support, learn and connect, and we can all really, grow together in a unified and amplified front.
So a fun fact for COL6 is the mascot for the event and for the day is actually Collie. For COL6 is a collie doggo. So how adorable is that?
It's
So
iconic.
cute.
Iconic. No notes for sure. Killed it there. And there's also a push to make this an officially recognized United Nations Awareness Day, which really tells you how just how powerful this movement is becoming.
So getting a better understanding of what Collagen VI is, right? What is Collagen VI? So we encourage you to visit the episode prior to this one, where our queen, Dr. Reagan Foley, gives a more detailed insight as to all things COL6 from a medical and researcher standpoint. But the basics are this. Collagen VI is a protein that supports muscles and the connective tissues. It's caused by mutations in COL6A1, A2, or A3 genes. And under the COL6 umbrella, there are three different kind of types of severity. There's the all-right congenital muscular dystrophy, myopathy, and also intermediate phenotypes. And a lot of the common symptoms for these are general muscle weakness, joint hypermobility, or contractures, respiratory involvement, as well as mobility aid use. As far as the diagnosis journey, a lot of us, or many of you, may be on it still or recently diagnosed, but there are a lot of misdiagnosis or delayed diagnosis because of its severity. And a lot of that involves genetic testing, as well as the emotional support of actually having that impact to getting a name of that diagnosis.
And then just getting into real life, because this isn't just science, obviously. It's really about lived experience. Like independence versus assistance is a big one. People assume needing help means losing independence, but for us, it's really actually how we gain independence and how we gain it. Same with mobility aids and mobility devices. Wheelchairs are absolutely not limitations. They're really freedom, they're access, their power, their independence for us. They're really our legs. And then I think also just navigating healthcare, especially transitioning from pediatric to adult care. That's just a whole journey in and of itself. And then also, we can't ignore mental health. Living with a rare condition can sometimes be a little isolating, but community definitely is everything and truly changes that. And then advocacy and research. This is where the power comes in, with advocacy. So much of the progress in rare disease spaces comes from the affected individuals and the community themselves and the patients themselves speaking up. And so I think awareness days like June 6th and the World COL6 Day, they matter because they really increase visibility and they drive research funding and they also build community, which is truly at the heart of it all. And we love a good hashtag moment. So hashtag collagen 6, hashtag COL6 Day, hashtag our 6-6 moment, and hashtag your steps forward, but also behind those hashtags are real people, real stories, and just real impact for sure.
So the power of our six moment. What does our six moment mean? It's really just a day centered around the college six voices. It's a celebration, right? Let's all celebrate one of another, and um, it's also a day to have that community storytelling. I want to hear other voices, other stories of people living this life. So if you don't live with Carl Six or you're an ally, you can also still participate. You're still welcome. Um, Ways that you can support it is to also share stories. You can donate to research and amplify other disabled voices. And just be open to learning about all these rare diseases that are out there.
So before we get into really the heart of this episode, Kelly, I'd love to know, what does 6-6 mean to you?
Yeah, for me, it's like finally a day just for me, where I can feel visible, I feel seen. We can celebrate and uplift and congregate with our peoples. My hope is that it continues to grow and becomes bigger and bigger year after year. And as we always say, there's power in numbers. So let's grow it up, run it up, take over the world. For World COL6 baby.
I love it. I think for me, 6-6 is about visibility with purpose. It's about making sure that our stories don't just exist, but they really create change, not just today, but every day after. And I hope that this is just the beginning, that one day every congenital muscular dystrophy has its own awareness day, its own official awareness day, because every story and every experience and every community deserves to be seen. There's truly It's truly so important um that we continue this kind of disability led movement and storytelling. Really, if you're listening and wondering how to be a part of it, like Kelly said, share stories, support research, amplify disabled voices, and really educate yourself. It all matters. So we really encourage that continued education beyond the awareness days. And yeah, we just really are grateful that you're here. You're willing to be a part of this movement. So if you're looking for ways to get involved, we'll include stuff in the show notes, but follow advocacy organizations, share this episode, and support someone in the Collagen VI community. Kelly, I'll pass it over to you for this next part. That's really, truly special to us. So I'll pass you the mic before you pass the mic over.
Yeah, of course. So, although this portion of the episode between myself and Avery is short, we wanted to officially pass the mic. We've gathered powerful call sisters from around the globe to share insight, perspectives, and just how dynamic our affected community truly is. These are their stories, and we hope it leaves an influential impact on showcasing just how resilient, amazing, and dare I say inspiring, but in the right way, of course, they truly are. So you can see the common themes that echo throughout, and it's our wish that those also living in this CrossFit world, that they may channel that same energy and really dream big. These are their words.
Hi, I'm Megan Hines. I am 35 years old. I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I live with Call 6.
Hi, my name is Katie Nelson, and I am 34 years old, living in Minnesota in the United States, and I have collagen 6.
Hi, I'm Caroline LeMay. I am 28 years old and I live in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. I have a form of collagen 6 muscular dystrophy.
I'm Brindisi Hamilton. I'm 25 and I live with ORITS, congenital muscular dystrophy, also known as COL6, and I live in Oklahoma City in the USA.
Hi, I'm Adina. I'm 38 years old. I'm living in Berlin, Germany, and I have COL6 as an intermediate type.
I'm Sarah Rose. I'm 48 and I live in southeast of the UK. My subtype is collagen 6A1 and that's severe auric end of the spectrum.
Hi, I'm Elisa Dumbo. I am 23. I have auric congenital muscular dystrophy and live in Australia.
I think it's interesting because collagen 6 is not something that I knew about at all when I was growing up. And being able to identify as having a diagnosis, it takes some of the ambiguity out of having a neuromuscular disease. Because I now know and can name what I have, it makes me feel more secure and more comfortable in being able to plan for my future. Because this level of unknown isn't quite so prevalent anymore.
I think for me, in some senses, it is a strength in that it's given me a lot more empathy for folks who are going through all sorts of challenges, not just disability related, but any kind of obstacle in their life. I think it's made me a more creative thinker in that I often have to plan my day and think about accessibility barriers that are just out there in the world. And that's often carried over into my professional life and probably made me a pretty good strategist in other realms. But I think for me, also one of the best benefits has been community. There are such wonderful people I've met.
I think for me, it's a different lived experience. Having collagen 6 or even just a disability in general has shaped who I am today in many ways in the sense of, my experiences or skills I've developed in terms of having a disability because, going out to a restaurant is not as easy in terms of just booking a reservation and going. You got to do all the things like making sure the restaurant's accessible, understanding their definition of accessibility type things. A lot of times they're like, oh yeah, we're accessible. We'll lift your chair up type thing and all the different things like that. So, just making me a very organized person, being able to problem solve, that kind of thing. So, I just think in general, having a disability has really shaped my perspective on the world and given me opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had if I was non-disabled.
I think the biggest thing for people who look like me is there's some ignorance around people with physical disabilities also having intellectual disability. And it's to break that stigma around that. Like, just because I'm unable to do day-to-day physical activities does not limit my ability to contribute to society in other meaningful ways.
I came to the diagnosis relatively late. I was in my late 30s, but I always knew the type of CFD. I guess it's made me, it's part of who I am. I've learned to adapt to, things I want to do at different stages as the condition has progressed. Yeah, just, a part of me that has meant that maybe I do things differently to my peers, but I don't think there's ever a correct way. And I think what I've found with the whole neuromuscular community is that we find ways of doing things. It's always also made me sort of thirsty for knowledge and, to find out as much information as I can. And also, I see the importance of talking to other people who are going through the same thing. So yeah, I try to look at it as, what it's to me and how it's shaped my life so far and continues to do so.
I think I wish that people knew that people with collagen 6 aren't defined by their disability. There are so many different skills and strengths within the members of this Collagen VI community. I know of so many people who are passionate about advocacy, people who are really passionate about the arts and entertainment. And when you just get to know an individual with Collagen VI, you'll get to see the strength that this community has. And I think that that can be a really powerful thing, being able to identify with a specific individual and be able to relate to them, because Collagen VI is not necessarily our identity. It's definitely part of who we are. And it can be a driving force in our lives. But at the same time, being able to see the person behind the diagnosis, I think, is a really important thing for everyone to be able to do.
What I wish families and young children and adolescents with COL6 know is that it's not a death sentence, not even close. You can still live a really full life with COL6. And, for me, what that's meant is, pursuing a really academically rigorous college program and grad school program. It means, getting married and traveling the world and doing all of this really fun stuff, and you're just going to have to do it a little bit differently, right? I think ultimately what I wish people knew is that it is it is something. It's not that people with COL6 do have difficult days, but they're not all difficult days. In fact, for me, I would say the majority of them are really great, and it's allowed me to have a different perspective on people, on the world, but ultimately has been a really, I think, positive factor in kind of my self-development.
I have a few friends with COL6, and there are definitely some similarities, but a lot of differences in terms of how our disabilities impact us type thing, but also the fact that, sure, there are some difficulties and some challenges that, we face, but there's ways to kind of work through those, and ways that, supports in place to help kind of us live kind of in terms of the way we want to live in the world as well. So while it may seem, especially for a parent or a caregiver or individual newly diagnosed with COL6, it may feel very unknown or very, scary at times type thing. And sure, like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are some challenges when it comes to living with COL6, but, there are different supports in place and different things to help kind of work through and kind of thrive in having COL6 as well. It's just being able to achieve kind of what I want to achieve in life. And I know it sounds simple, but for me growing up, my parents really instilled in me that I can do anything anyone else can do. I just might do it a bit differently.
It's not cookie cutter. Again, like with a bunch of other types of MD, they all fall under a specific cutout of what each person is going to share. But I feel like from what I've noticed and learned myself is anyone that has had or has Collagen VI, it's different for each individual. Like there's such a wide variety of things. Like I said, it's just not cookie cutter. Not to say that we don't share certain aspects, but I feel like in all, each person themselves is going through something different with Collagen VI.
I wish people knew that COL6 is not just one form. It is so individual, like a wide spectrum, and I feel like most of the people don't know that.
Collagen VI is different for everyone. It's a scale. So one person's experience of having Collagen VI could be very different to someone else's. So when people talk about it and learn about it, don't loop everyone's experiences together. Having Collagen VI means my physical limits are higher than most people. It is difficult some days living with this condition, but if I didn't have this condition, I would never have met the people I have in my life, and the people I've met inspire and push me every day to achieve my best. Like, because of them, I'm going to university. I have the confidence to advocate, and I don't know, I feel like if I didn't have Collagen VI deficiency, I don't think I would be where I am in life today.
I think I wish people knew that it doesn't have to stop you from doing the things that you want to do, what you want to achieve. Might be that you choose a different way to get there, but I think we're resourceful and there is so much available now in terms of technology, both medical technology and communication. That yes, it can make life difficult or challenging, but there's also, a lot of things that are positive as well.
One of the biggest things that people can do to support the Collagen VI community is to become learners and advocates for our community and the disability community as a whole. Really being able to educate yourself on barriers in society for people with disabilities is huge, and that's step one. Step two is learning how to help advocate as allies to our community to help make sure that systemic barriers in place in our society can be removed. The one thing I'll share about Collagen VI is that I have had the opportunity to build this beautiful connection with community. The Collagen VI community, both those affected, family members, friends, are all so passionate about this space and trying to drive awareness and education and advocacy and inclusion, and just watching all of that play out in so many different aspects of our lives, in so many different communities across the globe, has been a really beautiful thing to see. And I'm really, really proud to be part of it.
Really just being open to listen and not being afraid to ask questions. I think, wanting to learn more about other people in a respectful way is always, in my opinion, okay. No one owes you an answer, of course, but I think we're all better off trying to learn more about each other and how we can make the world an easier place, a better place to exist.
I think in terms of supporting those with COL6, it's really just about asking what supports people may need. And I'm not saying going up to every individual random person on the street and saying, how can I help you? Type thing. But I feel like some individuals are, intimidated to ask individuals, hey, do you need help with that? Type thing. So just asking if someone says, no, I'm good. Then respecting that and kind of going about your day type thing. But also, educating yourself, not always relying on people with COL6, but even listening to podcasts like these or looking up, different articles and, exploring different lived experiences to educate yourself and understand what those experiences are. So you can then support others in the community with COL6 or any disability at the end of the day. So I think, to summarize, really about educating yourself and just asking, not assuming as well in terms of what people may need to support.
Listen to our stories, and from our stories, make those changes, because it's well and good to listen, but if you don't put action into your awareness, nothing changes.
I think an important thing to do in supporting somebody with Collagen VI and with neuromuscular conditions more broadly is listen, accept that not in all cases, but most often we are experts in our own bodies and how we need things to be done. One example might be for me was when I decided to use ventilation 24 hours a day. I had been using it primarily at night to start with, and then I gradually started using it more in the day as I got more fatigue and I was struggling. I think at first people saw my use of it as perhaps giving in or not, or becoming dependent on it. But I knew in myself that I wasn't enjoying things anymore. I was always watching the clock. I was dreading doing certain things out of the house because I knew that I would struggle to breathe. And I think it's just my family and friends have learned to have faith in my decisions and just to sort of support me. If, I don't mind being challenged or I don't want people asking questions, but ultimately accepting why does it shit as being the best for me?
If you put your mind to it, anything you want, you can honestly do. Just because it's gonna be a little harder, you're gonna have to fight a little harder for it. Though Collagen VI is not super well known, there's gonna be some trial and error in some things that are done, whether that's in your personal life or in your medical life. But after some trial and error, you'll figure it out. And once you do, you'll feel a lot better about whatever it is you're trying to do.
So having an awareness day tied to a specific, either a disability or like someone's heritage month, I think that those awareness days are really an opportunity to help educate about a specific topic. So like Collagen VI Awareness Day is a really great opportunity that we as a community have for educating the rest of the world about our disease and kind of what we go through, the celebrations of the members of our community, and being able to raise awareness about a specific topic, I think can help really normalize a lot of the stigmas that people have around disability, and being able to really articulate through storytelling, especially, how amazing people in this community really are. There's so many personalities, so many different backgrounds that span literally the entire world within this Collagen VI community. And I think that there are so many amazing people that deserve to be having their voice heard and be able to share their story and have others kind of develop a better sense of empathy and understanding about people who are different than them. And I think that it can really help break down barriers that we have in our society. If there's that ability to kind of better understand and build that empathy, and awareness around a certain population, it can really help open doors.
Awareness is super important in kind of identifying community, making folks who are part of the COL6 community, whether it's people who have the disorder versus families, they're among a larger community and they can turn to for support. And it also means that folks who don't have COL6 are made more aware of the disease and potentially, research avenues to pursue treatment or a cure, right? If no one knows the disease, it's really difficult to convince people that it's something worth researching and that we should direct funds towards it in order to pursue a treatment or a cure. So I think all of those communities are really important to bring awareness to.
Awareness days really just provide just that awareness on, the different experiences of individuals with whatever the lived experience may be. And I think it shows the variety of experiences as well, in the sense of, one person with COL6 may experience a very different, lived experience than someone else. And so highlighting that and highlighting, and celebrating as well, in terms of, what the perspective of having a disability or COL6 or whatever kind of the awareness day is, kind of how that shaped the individual's perspectives and perceptions and all that type of thing. So I think it's just a way to put a spotlight on it and kind of give others experiences and individuals to look up to and kind of be like, hey, that person experiences that, so do I. That's really cool. Or hey, I didn't think I could do that. Let me try that out type thing. So I think just highlighting all the different variety in the disability itself. When I think about COL6, I think it's really exciting to see kind of how the community has evolved so much, even in the last 5-10 years. Myself, I wasn't actually diagnosed, or I didn't know my specific diagnosis of COL6 until I want to say like 15 years ago or so. I just assumed I had a general CMD kind of thing. And so I think it's really cool to see kind of the advancements in having a specific diagnosis and kind of what that can lead to. And down the road, I'm not necessarily looking for a cure for my disability because, like I said, I've had a lot of experiences and a lot of, great opportunities because of my disability, but some things would be nice to kind of make easier, like, breathing or that kind of stuff too. So any advancements in kind of technology in that sense or treatments to support kind of the day-to-day life, I think is really exciting to see. So I think it's something that, I guess it's just like exciting to see how all the advancements have in such a short time. as well?
I think that it's pretty interesting to see COL6 be brought up more now because it is such a rare type. It doesn't get the spotlight like a lot of other forms of MD do. So seeing it have its own day now being out there and celebrated is kind of special. It's really interesting to see because we all know your SMA awareness, your Duchenne's awareness, all the other ones, but now knowing that Collagen VI itself now, I feel like I have my own day now. It feels special, and now I feel like my type is seen, which is.
I think it's a great opportunity to link up with people all over the world. I'm aware that I have access in the UK to pretty good healthcare and social care and information. But I'm also aware that others in other parts of the world may not have that. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to share experiences because adults, we can sort of help those that are coming after us and newly diagnosed children and their families. And also we can link up with the experts around the world and all learn from each other. I think it's a great a great opportunity in that respect. I'm quite excited that we're coming up to the second year of World Collagen VI Day. A huge resource of support within the community and all the different forums that I belong to. I think you cannot underestimate the value of peer support and all the tips and tricks that we share with each other. Yeah, I think I couldn't have got through some things as well without that support from people that understand exactly what facing what we're all facing, especially as we get older and face new challenges.
The Awareness Day is our chance to be heard and seen. And I feel like it's a great step for us as a community, reaching out to the rest of the world and connect and feel part of a great network. I'm hoping that our global network is getting stronger and everyone feels part of it and contributes to it, because that's such a power. It's unbelievable just looking at the last year what we achieved. I didn't think it was possible before, because now I know people with COL6 all over the world. It's great.
It makes me feel seen and proud to be disabled. Like the Collagen VI Day is only the second year it's been done. And just to have that awareness about our disease makes me feel seen. And it helps, like, these types of days help me meet and see other people with similar conditions to myself that media doesn't usually present. Yeah, it makes me feel proud to be who I am.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this inclusive space where disability radiates and every listen helps amplify disabled voices that deserve to be heard. We're so grateful you're on this journey with us.
We share real stories, honest conversations, and expert insights that challenge misconceptions. Because disability doesn't define us, it's just a different way of experiencing the world.
Your support keeps this beautifully disabled, slightly chaotic show rolling.
You are truly the real MVPs. We have power, real stories.